Hey Village, like many of you in the States, I am preparing for Thanksgiving this year. And I have to admit, the older that I get, the more Thanksgiving becomes honestly my favorite holiday. And it isn't the same Thanksgiving that I celebrated as a kid. When we celebrate Thanksgiving now, we're really focused on food and family and being grateful for what we have. And this year, not only am I hosting Thanksgiving for my sister's family and my mom, but I'm also taking care of the entire menu. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I do a full meal plan for Thanksgiving, how I shop smart, and we're also gonna talk about how to celebrate Thanksgiving in a responsible way. And towards the end of the video, I'm gonna share some tips and considerations if you're celebrating as a foster family and you currently have kids placed with you. But first, this video is sponsored by KiwiCo and the kids got their crates, so we're gonna check that out.
I'm going to start by showing you the crates that Sawyer got, but you definitely want to stick around and see what Darcy creates. So KiwiCo is started by a mom of 3 to spark creativity, tinkering, and learning in kids of all ages. Their mission is to provide the next generation of innovators with the tools and a foundation to become creative problem solvers and critical thinkers. Each monthly crate is designed by experts and tested by kids to teach a new theme through hands-on learning and fun. They offer 9 subscription lines which cater to different age groups. And that also means that as a foster family, we can always change which crate we're gonna get so that it's a perfect fit for the kids who are currently with us. And I have to say that every single crate that we have gotten, while the kids are building, you can just see them learning. And when they have that finished project at the end, the pride that they are filled with is just so visible. So the fact that these crates are both a learning tool as well as something really fun that you can do together, it's a great option for holiday gifts. Because with KiwiCo, you're not just teaching your kids to buy, you're teaching them to build. A KiwiCo subscription delivers discovery, curiosity, and excitement long after the holiday decorations are put away. And for Darcy, after building this ice skating rink, not only did she think it was so cool, but she also wanted to give it to one of her grandparents as a gift so that they could decorate for the holidays. And when you support our sponsors, you support our channel. And KiwiCo has a great offer for you. You get 50% off your first month of any crate. Head to kiwico.com/BeTheVillage. And because this is a sponsored video, we're gonna show at the end of the video a wish that we're gonna grant for a child in foster care. And this crate specifically is gonna be perfect for the kids to cook alongside me during Thanksgiving dinner. For this Thanksgiving, I wanted to keep things simple, but it started to get out of hand. I'm putting together a kid-friendly charcuterie board. It's my first time making one. We're covering our bases with turkey and ham, along with all of the must-have side dishes. And I'm also throwing in some regular green beans and roasted carrots to keep the kids happy because typically kids don't like the different casseroles. We have some great pies, and I almost forgot the sweet potato casserole, so I had to put that in. My sister and my husband also wanted that for sure. And then this year we're doing Kroger delivery to save time, and this made it really easy to go through every recipe that I had and add it on Kroger.com. And we're starting to do the delivery because it actually is like a membership thing. So for $59 throughout the year, we get free next day delivery. And there were a few items that they didn't have when they sent the delivery, so Darcy and I just went out to a different store to grab those. But the convenience of all of our food showing up on our doorstep for Thanksgiving just made it super, super awesome. Sawyer's at an age where he definitely wants to help with everything, so it's gonna be a fun Thanksgiving. So we got all of our essentials, got all of our seasonings, got our turkey. And what I did before the delivery came is I went into our fridge and I made sure to split everything. So everything that was our groceries went on the right side, and that left the other side of the fridge for all of the Thanksgiving specific items.
Now, when it comes to celebrating Thanksgiving, it's important to focus on the right things. Me and my sister were just talking about how we remember being kids and, cutting out brown paper bags and making little vests. making little feather hats. And honestly, those days, the more that we learn about Thanksgiving and the tradition and the history, those are just not respectful ways to celebrate the holiday. What we choose to do as a family is really focus on gratefulness. And since in the States, we're not the only ones who have holidays that celebrate thankfulness and gratefulness, we have an opportunity to connect with other countries and their traditions as well. We also really focus on the meal. For me in particular, there's something about preparing an entire meal, being really intentional, using fresh ingredients as much as possible, pouring your love and your time into these dishes, and then just watching your family enjoy. That brings me so much joy at Thanksgiving. And when it comes to our kids, we try to keep things age appropriate. We want to keep it simple, but we also want to be honest. And while I'm taking the lead on the meal and the cooking this year, my sister is digging into ways in which we can incorporate really respectful conversations and even traditions to really recognize Indigenous people. I also think it's important to amplify the voices of Native Americans and Indigenous people. So be sure to be following on Instagram because I'm going to be posting some information there as well. And when it comes to being a foster family, holidays bring with it a new set of challenges. And this is where being flexible and adaptable as a foster caregiver is so important. I would not recommend going into Thanksgiving and just telling the kids who are currently in your home, here's how it's going to be. And that's that. That is not a very trauma-informed way of approaching this holiday. And personally, I've come up with 7 considerations that I'd like to share with all of you to hopefully make this Thanksgiving a little bit easier for the kids in your care. Of course, all of these are going to look a little different depending on the age and development of the children in your care, but they can be adapted. So first and foremost, I would definitely have a conversation and prepare the child for what they can expect. Consider any trauma from their past and think of ways that they might get triggered during the holiday. And this truly is a conversation. This isn't a one-way, the parent is giving all the information. You want to be asking questions to see what the child is going to be comfortable with. And through those conversations, you might learn about different traditions that the child is used to, which leads me to number 2. Incorporate the traditions that they find familiar into your holiday. This is truly going to make them feel seen and heard and appreciated. We all come from different backgrounds and different families, and by recognizing that they're a part of the holiday, that they're a part of the family while they're with you, holidays are such a reminder to these kids that they're not with their family. So any small gesture that you can do or incorporate, don't expect a big thank you from the child, but just know that that's making a difference. Number 3 is follow their lead. And again, this looks different with different ages, but if they're wanting space, give them space. Always check in and make sure that they know that, they can have a conversation if they're feeling open to it. But don't try to push and pry and make them involved in traditions or the meal, anything like that. That could lead to a trauma trigger and possibly a behavior that could be avoided. And if they are wanting to help out, if they're wanting to be a part of the food preparation and the cooking, the hosting, maybe decorating, find ways to get them involved because they're saying to you through those questions and all of that they want to be a part of it. For some kids, the holidays are going to bring about, sadness and loneliness. For other kids, it's going to be a great distraction and they're going to be filled with a lot of joy. And there are kids all along that spectrum and it can change from one minute to the next. So just be prepared. I also think it's important to give them a safe space to go. And this can be a lot easier if you're the one hosting because they're going to be in a familiar place. And so they can, go to their room if they're needing some quiet time by themselves, if it's, becoming a little bit too much. If you're going to someone else's house for the holiday, maybe just have that conversation with them that if they're not comfortable, if something is really getting to them, give them an opportunity to give you a sign to, let you know that it's time to go and be prepared to go. You can also talk with the host and see if there's a space in the home that, again, you don't want to give out information about the child, but you could say, so-and-so is having a little bit of a hard time with the holiday. Is there a room that they can go into just to have a moment to themselves? And that kind of brings me into consideration number 5, and that is remembering confidentiality around the holidays. When you get family and friends together, it's natural that people might be asking questions and they're curious about, this kid who is staying with you, because maybe this is their first holiday with you and, they have a lot of questions. So be prepared with answers that are going to let them know that your primary objective is to maintain the confidentiality of, their story and their family's story while they're in care. And that doesn't mean that you can't tell them, oh yeah, they played softball this summer and, they dressed up as, the Hulk for Halloween, Obviously those things are just normal kid stuff, but anything pertaining to the child's development, the parent's case, any kind of a timeline, those are things that you want to make sure that you keep private. And then in general, just be hyper aware. Make sure that you're checking in with the child, that you're, noticing any social cues. You can monitor their body language when they're having conversations with others. And this part can be exhausting because you want to visit with your family, you want to have fun, but again, you're there to make sure that that child is safe. And that's not just physically safe, that's mentally safe and emotionally safe as well. And then lastly, but something that we do not want to forget around these holidays is, if it's appropriate for the case plan, make sure that you're incorporating the primary family. So if there's open communication, you can, have a call, have a video call, maybe ask them if there are certain traditions or certain meals or dishes that the child is going to be looking for. You can have the kids make their parents something if they want, and they can exchange that the next time that they see each other, or maybe even before if you're ahead of it. But let's not forget that these holidays are really challenging and difficult for the families as well. And these 7 considerations are things that I have learned over the years, and I know that there are many, many more. So be sure to drop them in the comments below so that all the foster caregivers out there can really take a look and see how they can make this holiday really special for the kids in their care. Now I'm gonna start cleaning up my house and getting ready for all of the food prep and the cooking that's gonna happen over the next couple of days. But I wish all of you a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.
Since this video is a sponsored video, we're going to grant a wish for a child in foster care. And if you go to our specific One Simple Wish site, you'll notice that you can select by state. So if you want to grant a wish more locally to you, you can do that. And there was one that really caught my eye because it reminded me of when Miss A was with us. And so I wanted to learn more about this wish. And that's when I realized that this was a 16-year-old girl in our city, Cincinnati, Ohio. And again, I just remember the spa days with Miss A, and I had to grant this wish. And I also added a $50 donation before I checked out.